The following is a production of Upstate Prepcast Boiling Springs.
Welcome in tonight for the first ever Coach's Show with Coach Matt Reel. It's Real Talk with Coach Matt Reel here at Boiling Springs High School. Tom Dixon along with Todd Waddell. Ken Walters will be here in a minute. Coach, glad to have you with us tonight. Tuesday night here, getting ready to start a big season.
Yes, sir. We're excited about it for sure. Been a long time since December, when you started preparing for all this. So excited for the kids, excited for the staff, excited for the community. High school football's back this week, man. It's a great time to be alive.
I know you brought some guests with us here tonight for the first night. We're going to let them get started so we can spend some time bending your ear. They've been working hard today because, those coaches do all the work. You're just the coordinator from what I understand, orchestrating everything. Had to throw you
That's
under the bus.
That's why we've been winning a lot of football games. If it was the other way around, I wouldn't be sitting there talking to anybody right now.
Had to throw that out there real quick. Well, joining us tonight, y'all got to share that microphone, I guess, but we got Taylor Anderson and Brian Turk. Taylor, start with you. People around here, they remember your name. You're home. You played here, so
Absolutely.
Remind us what year that you were here.
I played in 08 through 2010 and graduated in 2011. So kind of the beginning of Coach Clark's tenure here. And then I actually played for Coach Tate as well. He was my position coach. So we had a couple good seasons. Made the playoffs a few times.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway. Finished up school in 11 and then went on to play in college and been coaching in college.
Yeah, so to remind them, I've been doing this since 2007, so I remember seeing you on the field, and I'm glad to have you home because I'm the old man around here. But where'd you go to play college football?
I played at North Greenville University. Was there from 2011 season through 2015 was my last year there. So made the playoffs a couple times. Played with some really good players. Willie Korn he was our quarterback my first year, and then another local legend was Nelson Hughes. He took over after Willie left, and so a lot of guys from Spartanburg, really Region 2 at that time 4A, played with us up there, and we had some good teams.
Yeah, then you left there and you coached some other places. Kind of give us a little background there before you brought yourself home.
Yeah, so I went to Valdosta State and was a grad assistant there under Kerwin Bell. He was our head coach first year there, and then stayed for one season, and then went up to Limestone with Coach Fury. I was introduced to him through Julian Crow, and that's where I met Coach Turk. So we got to work together for a year, and then stayed there for a season. And one of my previous head coaches, Carol McCray, was at Gardner-Webb and brought me over to Gardner-Webb for 2 years. Then he was let go, and I went back and worked for Coach Turk when he was the head coach for a short little stint, and then was able to go and spend 2 years at the University of North Carolina under Coach Jay Bateman. And that's kind of where I stopped in college. My wife was 8 months pregnant. Jay Bateman was let go, so in turn I was let go. And I started in high school at that point and called up Fred Cross, said I'm looking to get into high school, and he said, you got a job with me. And so I was luckily she was pregnant. We had our daughter at the time, and I started at Burns, and then a year after that, he recommended me to Brett Sloan over at Woodruff, and that's where I've been the past 2 years. So I told James McBee I've never been anywhere longer than 2 years, so I'm pretty tired of that.
Well, we're hoping that changes here because now you're back home.
It's not a good segue into the next segment.
No, but you're back home, and so it wasn't that long ago you were on the other side of the conversation here wearing uniform. There's coaches that stand out in your mind, because I can still remember my head coach when I was in high school 40-something years ago. So now it's your turn to be a positive influence on these players. How does that feel, especially since you walked these halls and played in this stadium?
Yeah, I think it's one, it's an honor, but it's also a lot of responsibility. Just knowing the coaches I played for and the impact they had on me, that was obviously the reason I wanted to go into coaching. But it's a big responsibility to know that we have the ability to shape these kids' futures. And so I don't take it lightly by any means. My family doesn't take it lightly. They're all in. And so that's kind of what my goal is. You know, we want to win every game we play, but the ultimate goal is to see them 10 years from now, you know, flourishing and being successful. And hopefully the things that we were able to teach them through the game of football will help us do that.
Now, defensively, you know, you're handling the defensive side of the ball. You got some tools to work with here, but what kind of scheme are you looking at, and are you using? Is it changed from last year to this year? I mean, you brought your own system in, I guess, and
well, structurally, it's going to be. If you looked out there and didn't know anything about football, it'd look exactly the same. We'll have 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers and 4 DBs. Certainly, with having Jeremiah and Dennis, we'll be able to lean on them to give us some help in one-on-one situations, and then, you know, put the other guys in positions to make some plays when the offense is focusing on them, you know. But structurally, it'll be the same thing. You know, we'll certainly different as far as terminology and maybe some of the coverages or pressures that we use. But really, the biggest thing is just a mentality. I've just brought. I don't know that it's different, but it's mine, and kind of how I play. One thing that we talk about with the defense is being rude. We want great kids in the school. That's what I was. I was all the teachers' favorites. Never got in trouble. But on Friday nights,
I wouldn't know anything about that. Go ahead.
Friday nights, that was not who I was, and that's what I'm trying to get them to understand is we have to change our mentality and become rude when we're on the field. And so we use the term rude boys, and that's, you know, kind of what we coined ourselves as a defense, and that's how we want to play. But we also want to be respectful in the building, but having the ability to go from a nice young man to a different person on Friday night is kind of what we're looking for, so that we can get the most out of them.
Well, and that's what it takes, and, you know, we're excited about the defense. A lot of guys coming back from last year, you know, different scheme, a little bit different terminology, but some of the same athletes. And Big Dennis Glenn, I've known him since he was 6 weeks old. I don't think he's gained a pound since then. He's been big that whole time.
Flip the switch over real quick. There you go. Yeah. Go ahead.
And so, you know, a lot of excitement there. We're going to bring them on here in a little bit, I guess, and talk to them. But, you know, Jeremiah Favorite is another, you know, phenomenal athlete to work with. As a coach, it's got to be exciting when you show up to practice knowing that's what you got to work with.
Yeah.
And the guys around him to compliment him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. When I started talking with Coach Real and Coach Turk about coming over, I got to start watching some of their film, and it was just like, wow, there's a lot of different stuff we can do. You know, Woodruff had some good players, but at that caliber, just not quite there yet, you know, especially up front, you know. So Dennis gives you a lot because he makes people double team him, and so that's going to open up tons of doors for Carson Weed or Guy Beck or the linebackers TJ and CJ and every other something J that we have. Yeah. There's about 20 of them.
You can call me Ray, but you don't have to call me Jay.
Yeah, it's just Jay. Just call them by their last names. But the ability to move him around, put him at nose some, put him at tackle some, let him pass rush, let him, you know, anchor in there and hold down gaps will free up a lot of people to make plays. So really those guys should be thanking him that, you know, all the attention he's getting should open the door for them to show up on film.
Yeah, we called Carson's name a lot Friday night just in the half a game, so you could tell he opened up a lot, especially for Carson, but TJ and the other ones like you talked about. So it's and go back to the rude were you talking earlier. I remember you playing back then. It was just ruthless aggression, man. So I look forward to you bringing that. Not that we didn't have it before with Coach Graham, but bringing that mentality to him, just ruthless aggression, man.
And that's what it takes, you know, because defense, they say defense wins championships. The offense fills up the stands, and that's where we get to segue over to Coach Turk. Coach, you had a few personnel changes from last year.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, we're missing him every now and then. I think about Lincoln every night when I see his picture there. First off, I take exception over that comment. We do more than put people in the stands. I come from a long line of people who coach offense who put a lot of points on the board. And last time I checked, if you have one more than the other team, we end up winning the game.
I'm going to tell on Boiling Springs, and y'all weren't here, but we played against Malden one year. I don't know if you remember this game, but Dre Massey played quarterback at Malden, and we put up 70 points on the board and lost. Mm-hmm. And the week before that, we put 50 or 60 on the board against Gaffney and lost. So offense, sometimes you can throw him out if you want to, but if the defense, but you know.
I mean, okay, well that's an exception.
I'm just
to the rule.
You got to go find that one outlier and all this. Okay, I got it.
I found two.
Of course, it was Dre Massey, so I mean.
It was Dre Massey, and he scored 11 touchdowns by himself.
You won't have to fire me. Turk will burn my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be tough. Hey, we'll have 71. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
That's right. But again, you were here last year. Had a lot of, you mentioned Lincoln. Yeah, was it 4-year starter, 3.5-year starter, whatever it was. Offensive line, we're all seniors. But this year, we've graduation. We don't have the NIL. We don't have all the transfers that the colleges have. So you kind of have to dance with the guys that live here. And what I saw the other night, I was very impressed and pleased for a bunch of young guys. But talk about the scheme you're trying to run. Did you have to make a lot of adjustments because of different personnel, or is it just like we always talk about next man up, and we're just going to learn how to play this game?
We haven't changed a whole ton. We have a identity to what we do offensively, and we're aggressive as much as we can be on offense. And I believe in physicality, and that manifests itself sometimes differently on the offensive side of the ball. But we're always going to continue to be pushing the envelope. I mean, we had a lot of trick plays last year, and I wasn't. Sometimes that's like the show that we're not a good offense. To me, it's just continue to be aggressive and keep people on their toes. We got a good group that came back, and we got great senior leadership. And someone I've known since he was a little kid, Grayson Crow and Jaden Gray, have stepped into some really nice leadership roles. Josh Call's done a nice job. We have a good group, and we have some guys who played a lot of really good football for us on the JV level, and they went undefeated that year, last season. And overall, I don't see a ton of scheme changes for us. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be true to who we are, and just continue to be passionate about what we do. That's really what we believe in. And I don't see us changing. We're really malleable to the opponent that we play, whether we need to be more run heavy this week, more of this personnel this week. And the kids have really risen to that challenge. We've had a really nice week of practice so far.
Yeah, so we've had a good offseason, had 7-on-7s. We've had 3 scrimmages, I guess, in the last 10 days. I think we were at Chapin, then we hosted Woodruff, then we had the Jamboree, which is, I think, a Cajun word for scrimmage.
That's right.
And a lot of people worry about the scores this and scores that. I'm one of those that, I don't care what the score is, because what you can't do at practice is replicate a game-type situation. And what we saw Friday night, that's the first one I got to see, because it was raining on Monday when I wasn't going to come out in the rain because I melt. But
Splatter.
I saw a lot of good stuff out there. Emory Logan, hadn't had a chance to see him before, but he showed a lot of poise. And there were some situations out there to where he could have just dove on the ball on a bad snap or whatever, but he made things happen. I'm sure you had a lot of stuff on film that you could work with. So I think the score was 12-10, and I've had some people who were talking to me as we were leaving. I said, we didn't win. I said, man, it's not about winning tonight. It's about getting prepared for next week. And as great as y'all are at coaches, you can't replicate that out here on the practice field. And that you had to be excited about what you saw from the younger guys that hadn't played a lot on Friday nights.
Absolutely. We look at those games as preseason games. Like you guys, you're football junkies. You're watching the NFL preseason, and you don't really play the result. And we got a 2-minute situation near the end of that first half, which we have not been able to really get game-like reps on that at practice with the refs and everything. And when I was working for Coach Spurrier, back in college, you didn't really have an opportunity to see another opponent until week 1. So he would always open up a scrimmage or two near the end of training camp, which was a month and a half long, it seemed like back then. Now it's a couple weeks for us, really. But you get into it now, and you get some people in the stands, the lights are on, the refs are here, so you kind of find out who can play in those moments. And to me, it was all about situational football. We got a lot of reps, like you mentioned. That last drive for half, we're playing guys who have not been if we played Greer tomorrow, they probably wouldn't be starters, but they're going to be guys who are role players for us. So we're getting a lot of valuable reps, and we took every one of those scrimmages as an opportunity to develop down the line, find out who can play for us when it's a third quarter at Gaffney later in the season, and we need somebody. We know that we can call someone's number, and they've already gotten the reps ahead of time. So I'm with you. I understand. Look, we want to win everything. Coach Reel's the same way, but at the end of the day, I left that scrimmage. I was very encouraged, and I'm like, give me a full half of football. It changes all your play calling when it's a down a half and you're trying to win for the home crowd and all that kind of stuff. Air quotes win.
Sure.
But I really left that going. I felt pretty good about it, what we did.
And you should. I mean, and I'm glad you mentioned that about the 2-minute drive. I said it on the air. I was like, he can't set this up at practice any better. It was 2.5, almost 3 minutes, whatever. I said, they got to go down the length of the field and try to score. You can't set this up at practice better. That's what this Jamboree's all about. And, again, you played some different guys, and you got to see. And, you're right. They had people up in the stands yelling and screaming. And more importantly, they had guys on the other side of the ball not wearing the same color jersey, and they don't see them in the classroom. They hadn't played with them all summer, and they're wanting to hit you hard.
Absolutely.
So I think, Coach, you mentioned something after the game I was talking to you about. One thing about this night is these guys realize it's not going to be that easy anymore. These guys have to earn it every week. At practice sometimes, as high school kids, they might get complacent. That's my buddy. He's not going to try to hit me as hard, so I can slow down around this corner.
Yeah.
Well, on Friday night, he slows down around the corner. He's going to get his clock cleaned.
For sure.
And that's another thing that I really liked about the whole Jamboree atmosphere. And that sets it all up to this week.
Yeah.
And, and now, I guess now the score counts.
It does. And that's the part, the excitement for me, like Coach mentioned, it's been a long time coming. It seems like, I even look at our offseason when high school is structured more like an NFL offseason. We got different phases as it goes through. We have like just the lifting phase, then we have open season, then we have spring ball, then we have the 7-on-7 season, which you referenced earlier, and then we have training camp, and now we're here. And it seems like it's taken a long time to finally get here, but I cannot wait to see Greer and see our kids compete Friday night. I love playing. When I've recruited, I've gone to Greer several times. It's a fun place to play. It's a really great atmosphere, and looking forward to seeing our guys compete over there.
Well, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. We beat them 3 straight years, and we were talking about this earlier. 3 years ago, we played over at Greer, and we beat them, and I think that's the first time we beat them at Greer ever.
Oh, wow.
I believe so.
We had a big interception. Spencer Eisen had a big pick. I think maybe the last drive or maybe the second to last drive of the game that kind of sealed it for us.
Yeah, it was like a 27-25 win, and they kind of come back to make it because we were ahead early, but you're right, Spencer kind of missed him too.
We blocked 2 extra points that night, and that ended up being the difference between the game.
Well, they got a chip on their shoulder, and you're right. Going to Greer that's a special place. Way back before I started broadcasting here, I was a sideline guy broadcasting for Gaffney, so I've seen Greer is kind of a smaller version of Gaffney.
It's a great community.
Great community. They rally around the team, and you got to go over there. You got to win it. Yeah. They're not going to hand it to you, no matter what their record is or not. They're not going to hand it to you, and we got to be ready for Friday night. And I'm sure you're going to get the offense ready for it.
Well, that's something we talked about even on our staff, our team meeting on Monday. We played them well in the first week last season. Felt really good about it. They took it on the chin 3 weeks in a row. They played some BHP, a really good team in 3A. They played Hillcrest, a great team, Coach Swag over there. And then they rattled off 6 games. They beat Burns at home. Mm-hmm. And so they're a good team. And they're a good program. Their coach does a great job. Staff does a good job. We're going to have our work cut out for us come Friday night. We're ready for it. The kids have practiced well. I'm really excited to see these guys get a chance to really go out there and compete and really show what they can showcase all the work they put in this offseason, honestly.
Yeah, and, of course, as the offensive coach, with the different personnel changes, you got to be excited about, the season coming in. First game at Greer, then we go to Maud, and then we host Chapman here. Then you take a week off so you can, I guess, put the bandages on because you've had 3 hard games.
Right.
And then you got that little team down the street. We got to go down 85 to Gaffney. And if these guys aren't ready by then, that's what these first 3 games, they're going to get punched in the mouth a few times, and that's going to be good for them because we talk about this all the time. This is not an easy region to play in, and you're going to play – it's almost like playing a state championship every week.
To me, it's the SEC region of South Carolina.
It is.
You can't take a night off. In any week of the season, you can't especially region play, you can't take a night off. I love how our schedule lays out for the non-region going into the region play. And, as you're talking about changing the personnel, like I've jokingly said to all the guys last year, I kind of was having to tie some of my paycheck to Lincoln for half the stuff he made me look better as a coach on the field. I told our guys this year, we're going to earn our paychecks, man. We got a lot of young guys out there who are really talented, but kind of this is their first time seeing what it's like under the lights on Friday night.
Well, some of the guys last year, Kyle Patterson made Lincoln look good a few times too because he made some great catches. Well, I saw some stuff. Jaden Great had, I like his. Physicality. He is just a phenomenal receiver-looking guy, even though he's playing a H-back tight end, whatever they're called. He's looking good. We got some running backs coming out of the backfield. There was one run by Tobler the other night where he just laid the wood to a guy. He just took him for a ride. So we've got a lot of. Of course, we didn't see him a lot last year on Friday nights because we didn't have to.
Yeah.
Now we're going to, and I was very, very encouraged with what I saw Friday night, and I'm looking forward to this Friday.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited. I'm ready to get to Friday. I'm ready to get through these next 2 days and get us there.
As you coaches, the weeks, now that football season's here, you're going to blink your eyes. It's going to be Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. It's the downhill part of the roller coaster.
Yeah.
All that part building up was click, 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 and then there's a downhill, and it's as fast as you can go.
Yeah, I say that every year when the first game comes, and we'll walk out of the press box and say, all right, next thing you know, it's going to be playoffs. And sure enough, it will be.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to the offensive output, defensive. We're excited to have y'all here and can't wait to see what y'all put on the field.
I'm not a hometown guy like this guy, but I've been here for a while, and I love this place.
You've been here for a while, and we're glad we got you here.
We are extremely – I tell people all the time, man, we are extremely blessed to be able to have these 2 guys leading, the prospective sides of the ball. They do a phenomenal job of just being prepared, being professional. Our kids are getting coached at a collegiate level in high school, and not everybody can say that. And not just these guys, but the staffs that we've been able to put together with them. Man, I'm telling you, if people really saw what went on 24 hours within this program, 7 days a week, man, it's hard to beat, what they do, how they do it. So I try to brag on them as much as possible, and they make me look really good a lot of times. So just blessed these guys are here, thankful they're here, and what they do for our kids every day.
We got to make sure we keep them. I mean, I'm glad we got one home. We got one that's come back. We got one we're going to keep him here. Won't let him leave. But it's exciting time here, and Coach, you got your work cut out for you. This is your 4th season. I think like every year you've doubled your win output every year since you've been here.
Yeah, at some point that's probably going to stop happening just by the the laws of mathematics. But
that's what we were going to say. We got to add some games at the end of the season for you to continue.
If we can get to 14 this year, man, I'll be really, really happy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we take 15 though, I believe.
I'm not.
But 14, I would. We won't put the for sale sign in your yard with 14.
I appreciate that. I hadn't been there a year yet. So.
So.
Right. We're going to take a real quick commercial break. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. We're going to bring some of the guys in. Appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all Friday night.
Appreciate it. Go Dogs.
Have you been hurt by church? Have you maybe lost your faith or lost your way? We understand that at View Church because we've been there. If you're looking for an authentic place to worship with authentic people that understand brokenness, we would love for you to come and be our guest sometime. We have 2 services at 8:30 and 11, and we're located at 5555 Paris Bridge Road in Bowling Springs. Come, find hope again.
And we're back here at the Dog Pound. Got some guys joining us tonight along with Coach Real, and he's good-looking athletes. They didn't have them like that when I was in high school.
Don't make their heads any bigger
well,
than what they already are.
Well, his can't get any bigger.
No.
I got to mess with Dennis. I've known you since you were 6 weeks old, and I told him a little while ago I think you've gained maybe a pound since then. He's going to get after me later, so y'all protect me, okay?
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't think anybody has done a good job of protecting anybody from him so far, and I hope it stays that way.
But we got Dennis Glenn, T.J. Collins, Grayson Crow, Jeremiah Favorite, and joining us tonight here. Guys, y'all going to take turns with the mic. Just introduce yourself. I know you're a junior this year, and tell us a little bit about playing defensive side of the ball. Got a new coach, defensive coordinator. Got to be excited about everything going on that side of the ball.
It's very exciting.
Hit the button on the side.
Hit that button on the side, yeah.
Yeah, flip that up.
There you go.
There you go.
It's very exciting. New DC. It's a little different in the plays we call, but I love it. He loves to get after it. He's a really great guy. He brings some intensity, switches some things up. It brought a freshness to our defense, and I'm just ready to hit week 0, play some teams.
Well, we've had the off season, a lot of workouts, 7-on-7s, which I guess defensive line doesn't do a lot in 7-on-7, but they have lineman competitions as well.
Yes,
had 3 scrimmages.
Yes.
Went down to Chapin, and then we hosted Woodruff, and we had the Jamboree the other night. So you finally got to hit guys with different color jerseys on that you don't see every day. That's got to be something that you like.
Felt great.
Felt great. I like the attitude. Felt great. They had that little smile on his face. Felt great. Well, we're looking forward to some exciting stuff out of you this year, and big year for you, junior. And you got senior year coming up. We got some seniors over here. They can tell you all about what you expect next year. But looking forward to see you on Friday night, taking care of that defensive line.
Coach Anderson hit on a few things while he was talking about you're going to be double teamed a lot this year.
Yes.
Your name has gotten out there. They know how you play. That's going to open things up for TJ and Carson and everybody else. But how do you keep from getting frustrated knowing you're going to be double teamed pretty much the whole season?
I don't say that I keep from getting frustrated. I just use my frustration on them because in my mind, that's a very weak move. But I know that that's what they have to do. Mm-hmm. Personally, I take it personal on the field. Like y'all got to send 2 people to stop me. But
It's a
I mean,
compliment.
I know that it frees up the other guys to make plays, and that's what we want to do. As long as somebody making the play, as long as we getting stops on defense, man, I don't care if they send all 5.
And that's the team mentality there, and that's what it takes.
I think a big thing too is now with us pressuring like we do, it's really, really hard. And we moved Dennis around too. He might be at nose, he might be at 4-eye, he might be a 5. You know, we're trying to, and he's so smart, man. He's probably smarter than most of us coaches are. But you can just do so much with him, and then you got the guys around him, like Carson, that just plays with his hair on fire 24/7. Like even, you know, if they do double, we got guys coming from other landmarks. So I think that's one of the biggest differences this year is him not being kind of locked into being the left side, you know, forward technique. But they're going to have to account for him every single play and where he's at. And I think that's going to be one big thing for the quarterback, but then 2, figuring out where the other pressure's coming from, you know, as well.
And that's a good thing for the defense, you know, especially Coach Anderson. He's got a lot of tools to work with. And speaking of another, TJ, got a guy like that in front of you, which frees you up a little bit. So I know you got that little grin on your face. So yeah, it's my time to eat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you look good the other night, all over the field, and you got to be excited about your opportunities this year as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I really feel like just because Dennis get double team, man, I get freed up a lot. I get through the gap easy with that. I mean, I love it. I know he hates it sometimes. I mean, it helps me out a lot. So, but yeah, I really appreciate him on that.
And you got to take advantage of that. I mean,
for sure.
it's senior year,
Yes, sir.
and excited about that,
Oh, yeah.
and get ready to go hit somebody.
Oh yeah, that's why I play football. I love hitting people. That's really all.
Hey, be careful, your name get out. You're gonna start getting double teamed.
Yeah.
Hey, they do what they got to do. More people gonna come hit them.
That's right.
Yeah, if they got to chase out him to double team him out there, there's somebody else on the line that's freed up.
We're gonna be good.
We're gonna be good, and
Oh, yeah.
he hits the weight room a little bit. He's strong.
They got a choice here. You know, that was, you know, one of my biggest goals when I got here was we had to change the mentality and just the process in the weight room every day. And these guys, just like that group that we had last year, they're the epitome of complete buy-in, total buy-in to what that looks like. And then also they understand, too, we take care of them. You know, we ask for a lot, but we also replenish, you know, and make sure we're taking care of those guys, too, because, you know, the guys that are putting out there for you every day, you need to make sure they know, hey, we're going to take care of you when we can and make sure your bodies are able to perform. And Coach Blackwood, I think those guys would second. He does a phenomenal job of understanding the process through the week to where they're primed and that they're at their peak, you know, at 7:30 on Friday night. And I think that's one of the biggest, you know, things we've done differently the last 3 years going into year 4. It's just, you know, getting our guys primed for the off season and then how that transitioned into the in-season games as well.
Yeah, now, TJ, being a senior, you're also a baseball player.
Yes, sir.
Filled up center field pretty good for us this year.
Yes,
I watched you all over the place out there. That's just athleticism. If you can play hard on the defense and you can fill up the outfield, a lot of grass to cover. Tell us, Lou, as a senior, what are your plans going forward? What have you got kind of in your mind after this year?
Now, I think figuring out which one I would play in college, probably based on like my senior year for both of them. But if I could, I really would love to play both. I mean, that's my goal. I love baseball, football, both equally. So hopefully I could get that opportunity, and I would definitely take that.
Well, you got the talent to do both.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I've seen you put on both jerseys, and I like what I see, and I'm excited about this Friday night coming up. I'm glad to see that, but it's been fun watching you.
Yes, sir.
I know you guys look forward to every game. We'll go back to you two, Dennis, and for you two that are coming up. What one game sticks out that you're looking forward to the most this season?
I am really looking forward to. Can I say 2? Actually, I got 2.
Whatever you do.
I really want to beat Burns. Every year I've been here, we haven't beat Burns yet. We've just been coming up short. I really feel like we have a great opportunity this year. And Gaffney, we got to get Gaffney. I mean, that's just going to be a game, and I can't wait to play them. So
Yeah.
Well, it's 2 good teams to go after and beat.
yeah.
I mean, you know, Gaffney's kind of set the standard for the last 100 years, I guess, here. I mean, it's every year they should be on the calendar.
Yeah.
What about you, Dennis?
I would say the same for me.
Same thing.
Gaffney and Burns. Burns is very personal for me. I'm not gonna get into all that, but it is. And Gaffney, it's been a close game, and people thought we weren't gonna stick in it for the past 2 years that I've been able to play, and I feel like they sleep on us. They try to, you know, they don't really worry about us on the calendar, but I got some stuff to show them.
There you go.
There you go.
And Grayson, glad to have you in here with us tonight.
Yes,
Seen
sir.
you play this last couple of years. I'm old. I saw your brother play here too. So, you know, you wearing that name well. You're doing a great job out at receiver.
Yes, sir.
Your senior year.
Yes, sir.
So, how's it going for you? What are tell us a little bit about what you've noticed as, the last 2 years playing. New quarterback spinning the ball at you is a little bit different now. So kind of where your role is this year.
Yes, sir. I'm just excited to see everybody turn it loose. I mean, finally getting through all this preseason, all through the 7-on-7 in the spring. I'm just excited to see everybody finally turn it on for 4 quarters and everybody playing with their brothers. Offense depending on the defense depending on offense. And I'm just excited to see everybody coming together as one and finally playing like a good, real football game.
Good. I mean, and that's what it is because we talked about it earlier. Y'all are finally getting hit guys that have different color jerseys, and it's not guys you see walking every day. And those guys are trying to hit you hard. I mean,
Yes,
I'm not saying you don't.
Crow got tackled more in 7-on-7 this year than I've seen anybody get tackled in like a regular season. It was unreal. Like every 7-on-7 we went to, he got tackled like 10 times. I was like,
they're not supposed to tackle then, are they?
I'm serious. It was a running joke, and it really wasn't funny. But I'm like, every week we go and play, this dude gets tackled like 8 times in 3
Well,
games.
I mean, he's established himself as a target. I mean, you throw the ball at the guy. Of course, I'm old like this. Back in the 70s, 80s, Fred Biletnikoff was a possession receiver that could hurt you. Throw the ball anywhere near him, he's going to make the catch, and that's how you play.
Yes, sir.
And, ask your dad who that was, and he'll remember. That's a compliment. That guy just didn't miss. And, that's what you've established yourself out here. So you had some other receivers last year that graduated, and you're kind of the elder statesman that's coming back. So what are some of the things that you've been telling the guys that, hey, now it's your time on Friday night, we got to work together?
I mean, obviously it's going to be big shoes to fill with Kyle and guys like Eli and Graham leaving. But I've just been trying to reiterate that we're the number 1 receivers now. And we can do the same things that the receiver core last year could do and possibly even better. So I'm just trying to encourage those guys and get them all rallied together and ready to win some games.
Yeah, because this second year, I guess Coach Turk was here as offensive coordinator, so it's got to be a little bit of a comfort level for you that you've had 2 years under that offensive scheme, so that's also got to be something you're excited about.
Oh, yeah, and he's already told me that he's been dialing up some plays for me and for the other receivers, so he can really just watch the defense and see what they're doing and kind of break them down and scheme them up to what he wants to do.
Well, all right, so now, senior year, what kind of plans have you got ahead other than just graduating? That should be everybody's plan first.
Obviously, I'm looking to further like my athletic career, and as you know, I run track too, and I've been doing good in track. I came 3rd in the state last year. Well, I tied for 3rd in the state last year, and I'm ranked 3rd in the state like coming into the next season. So it's just a choice that I have to make, like TJ with football and baseball. It's just a choice that I have to make on which one I really want to do or if I want to do both in college.
Well, that's a full-time job, so
Yes,
having the classroom dedication as well is going to be very important. And I'm sure you'll make the right decision that's best for you. We're looking forward to seeing you this Friday, though, and this whole season, senior year.
Yes, sir.
And now we got Jeremiah Favorite coming on. He's you play on both sides of the ball. You've defensive back. You've already kind of made your decision where you're going next year. We'll get into that in a minute. But defensive back, special teams. Saw you play some wide receiver last year. So that's got to be an exciting time for you as a senior, and it's kind of your time.
For sure. Lost a lot of guys last year. Some big players, but it's like me, Crow, Dennis, TJ. It's our time to step up. So looking to make some plays. Whether it's at corner, receiver, special teams. PAT, whatever it is definitely our time to step up for sure.
He got his hands on the extra point. Didn't you block a couple extra points the other night? I thought that was you reaching in there.
Yes, sir, I did.
Yeah.
Took one in the gut.
He's fast.
That was, dude. We were watching it Sunday in film, and to me, like my point was, a lot of times guys that are very skilled, very talented, they kind of cheat and don't do the small things that you teach them to do. The difference between like excellent and great players and then above average to average players is they do exactly what they're coached to do. And if you line up that film, everything was perfect as far as the lineup, the takeoff, the extension, everything. And when you have somebody talented and they decide that they're going to be coached and then replicate those things, special things happen. And that's the case with all 4 of these guys. They're on that same boat, man. They're really talented guys. They love to be coached. They love to be challenged. They don't, some kids you can't coach. We can coach these cats right here as hard as we want to, and they're going to bounce back and give us what they got. So, it's just fun watching that show itself on film, after you spend so much time every week, really trying to hammer in these small details.
Well, one thing I remember way back 40-something years ago when I was playing, I had a coach, and he said something to me, and it still stands out, and it's in my everyday life. Success depends on the ability to do a little bit more than just good enough, and that's kind of what he's saying. Y'all are doing more than just good enough, and that's the difference between you and maybe the guy across from you in the other jersey. There's little things, do a little bit more than that, and you've been doing that on both sides of the ball and special teams. What are you looking for this year since, it's your senior year? You've already made your commitment. I believe you're going to Michigan State to play a little football up there.
Yes,
Wanted you to go to Coastal? That's where I went. But Coastal, Michigan State, yeah. Of course, you're familiar with down in the coastal area, so I'd get away from there too if I can go up to the Spartans.
Yes,
yeah, congratulations on that. But
thank you.
Tell you about this year. You're a target. Both sides of the ball, special teams. They're going to have you circled on their roster as this is the guy we got to watch out for. That's got to be exciting for you.
It is for sure. Just it's a compliment. Thank glory to God. But at the end of the day, whether I'm double team, whether I'm not targeted, whatever it is, still got to go out there and play. I like to take, on defense, on offense, I like to go. But I really think special teams sometimes is where people, just take that lack. It's like, special teams. But I really try to look, okay, when it's special team, like time to make a play. It's time to make a block, time to go get something, time to return. So I really like special teams because I know people like to just take it off. So that's something. But going into the season, regardless what the coverage is, who I'm lined up against, what route I'm running, whatever it is, I feel like I'm the guy, and I'm always gonna make a play on Friday night, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, made a good return the other night in the Jamboree. I guess the first kickoff return. I thought you were gonna take that one to the house.
I tried.
But
I wanted to cut back, but I seen
it's every time you get your hands on the ball that they've got to be careful. And on defense, I don't care who the receiver is over there, best receiver they got, doesn't matter. You can shut them down, and that's something the coaches, I'm sure, are, a lot of confident about that, and that's just because you worked hard. You've done the off season, and as a senior, you got the other guys around you, defensive leadership. What are some of the things that you tell these guys out here on the field that, hey, we've seen this before. This is what we got to do.
Right. Being out here, I think I would consider myself a high school vet, at least that. Just telling the guys, like, just get in the film, like what you see on Friday night is on video is what you're going to see on Friday night. Like, you see the screen ran 1,000 times to the field, whatever, to the boundary, it's going to come up on Friday night. You see this guy, whether it splits like this, you see it with their number one player, the number one receiver, they're not going to go away from it. So I'm just telling the guys, be confident, don't shy away from the moment. I know sometimes you could see it coming, but you don't want to be wrong and second guess yourself. So just trying to tell the guys, trust their gut, go out there and play fun, play hard, and just make the play for sure.
And just, when it's your turn, step up, make the play. That way your brothers out there will be able to count on you. That
exactly.
You can count on them. And that's why the defense gels so well, and the offense is like that. New players on offense this year because of graduation, but you look good the other night. Y'all had a lot of positive things, a lot of poise out there. When Emory was out there running around, a lot of guys would have just dove on the ball. Instead, he tried to make something happen, and he didn't just lose his stuff. I was excited about that, and that's because the guys like you around him are picking him up. I know he wasn't here last year, so y'all kind of brought the new guys that didn't play on Friday nights last year or weren't here last year, and y'all are the guys they look to, and that's leadership.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we're excited about. And Coach, I know you're excited about that.
No doubt. Every good football team I've been a part of has been a player-led team. If coaches have to point out every small detail and lead every small detail, then, when it comes time for the players to have accountability amongst themselves, it's not going to happen. They're waiting for somebody else to do it. And that's going to be the biggest thing this year is I think last year we had a group of guys that, were freshmen when I first got here, and all those guys offensively were varsity guys and sophomores. So sophomore, junior, they've been through the fire. They've been through the good, the bad, the ugly. They saw it all. And, after 3 years of just working, they got themselves to a place where they could be successful, winning 7 games. So, we got a lot of guys now. Some of these guys have been through the fire, but we got a lot of guys that, this Friday night is going to be the first regular season game they played in a varsity uniform. So their leadership, their ability to kind of ring those guys back in whenever the lights get too big for them and just say, hey, look, man, it's still just football.
It's just
same
football.
Stuff you've been doing for the last 4 days in practice is going to be the same thing you do on Friday night. I think the team Friday night that stays within themselves the best and doesn't have the mistakes that usually the week zero has, is going to be the team that wins the game.
We had 3 scrimmages, of course, counting the Jamboree. So, this Friday, it's just a longer scrimmage if you just keep doing the work, except now you got people in the stands just like you had Friday night, so I'm sure y'all are excited to hear about that. And it's going to be a big game for us this Friday, ready to start this season.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming tonight. I know y'all had a long day and probably got some homework to do or something. Get ready for tomorrow.
Got a little bit of that.
So, guys, thanks for coming out. Looking forward to seeing y'all Friday night. Dennis Glenn, TJ Collins, and Grayson Crow, Jeremiah Favorite. We could talk about you a lot on Friday night as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all coming.
We'll take a commercial. We'll be right back with Coach Real.
Have you been hurt by church? Have you maybe lost your faith or lost your way? We understand that at View Church because we've been there. If you're looking for an authentic place to worship with authentic people that understand brokenness, we would love for you to come and be our guest sometime. We have 2 services at 8:30 and 11, and we're located at 5555 Pierce Bridge Road in Bowling Springs. Come, find hope again.
And we're back here at the Matt Real Coaches Show with Coach Real. All the guys have left, and now it's just us.
Still sounds weird to me when you say that.
What, the Real Talk
The
with
Matt
Coach?
Real Coaching Show.
Real Coaches
You've arrived, Coach.
Oh, man, I think it's awesome. This is, like I told you, this is something I've wanted to do because it's all about what you just saw, getting the coaches out here. It's not about me, I can promise you that. It's about those kids, those coaches. And hopefully we can get some different kids in every week, because we got so many guys that have bought into this program, for 4 years, some of these guys. And people I don't think people realize, I was in our parent meeting. I told them, I said, with our football class the way it is now, both semesters, there's 4 weeks out of the year that we're not with these kids. That's it. They get 2 weeks at Christmas, a week during July the 4th, and spring break. That's it. So the amount of time and energy and effort that these kids, and that's not just like, well, he's just saying that. That's the reality. You come here at 7:30 in the morning, you see every one of our football kids from 9th grade to 12th grade getting dressed out, going to the weight room, going to meetings. We try to run it as professional as we can and give these kids as much as they can get. And to me, it's just really rewarding whenever you see them have success because, man, there's so much time they put into, everything that we're doing right now.
Yeah, I've been around Bowling Springs football my whole life. My brother graduated in '87, so I was around back in the '80s. I graduated in '93, and then I worked here at the high school from 2000 all the way up to 2019. So I've seen just about every group that's come through here,
Yep.
Good, bad, indifferent, and everything. And you can tell everything you just talked about, you're instilling that. You can see that. You can see the difference from over the years, and not to talk bad about any coaches. That's not what I'm not what I'm doing, but you can see the difference that you and your staff are making around here with these kids.
I think too, a lot of this is, what does your administration allow? What do they encourage? What do they support? When I first got here, it was whatever you need, we're going to find a way to make it happen. If it's going to benefit our program, it's going to make our school better, and it's going to give us a chance to be successful. Mr. McQuigg, Coach Moxie, our superintendent that just left, Mr. Rafford, and then Oxford, Dr. Newman just coming in. It's the same from the top down. What can we do to let it happen where you guys can be successful? And I've asked a lot, and then just getting our staff here to be able to just pour into these kids, not just from a football standpoint, but from a human being standpoint. We've got former soldiers on our staff. We've got former business people on our staff. We've got guys that are in education. We've got guys, that's been in the ministry, like from top to bottom, just, a wide range of backgrounds that our kids can draw from. And those guys are the ones that have made, my vision, come to fruition. And nothing that we've done or been able to do the last 3 years would have happened without everybody that we just mentioned.
Yeah, and you're not just making football or building football players. You're building young men. These are the people that are just going to take your job, going to take our jobs eventually and everything. So it's cool to see just the respect those 4 had just now,
Well, and that's a testament to their parents because,
Yes.
all those kids, it ain't like they came to us as freshmen and we morphed them into what they are. I'm just being honest with you. Like Dennis, I drive the bus to get the middle school kids during the spring to get them up here to lift. And, as a 14-year-old, he's on the bus making sure the girls are sitting in the front, the guys are being respectful. They're not standing I'm like, who is this 14-year-old man that is? And then I could say the same thing about TJ at different times, about Grayson, about, Jeremiah. There's 15, 20 more that I could tell you things about. That they're just great kids. And I'm lucky enough I get to come and be around them every single day.
That's one thing about this community is it's been like that. You know, I grew up down in Spartanburg. My wife's from Gaffney, and we decided when we got married we didn't want to live either place. Where can we go? Well, the Boiling Spring community is, I mean, it checked all the boxes, and it's been that way, you know, since back in 1998, and just kind of working our way forward. My kids came through here, and it's just, but you can see it building and the growth we've had. But these teams, these last 4 years, you can tell there's a slight different mentality.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting it done on the field, but they're getting it done in the classroom. And what I like to tell some other people, you're not reading about them in the paper for the wrong reasons. You know,
No.
you're hearing about good things this community's doing, and with the coaches and all that.
Come on out, son.
What was that?
No, I think the biggest thing when I got here was opportunities. And we needed to create more opportunities for our kids to be seen, for our kids to work, for our kids to be coached, for our kids to be seen out in the public about how great the kids they are. Let them serve, let them do. And that's what we've done. And I think our kids have thrived off of that.
Well, that's, you know, kind of tooting our own horn a little bit. That's why we started this back in 2007. You know, Boiling Springs didn't have a radio station up here. They didn't have the media exposure that Spartan High does or Gaffney and all them. So we was like, we need to give back to the community as well because the community wanted that, and it's kind of been growing since then, and they've embraced that, the coaching staff and the kids. And you can just see it, that you're doing everything for the kids. It's not about you, it's about them, and that's your attitude, and that shows. And that's got a lot to do with the success we're having here.
No, and it's truly that way. You know, everybody has their own opinions about people, and you know, I'm sure I've given the wrong vibe off at some point in time, or somebody just thought, well, that guy's whatever. But you know, if you're in our program, truly in our program, and you're around our guys every day, and you're around these coaches every day, and you see, you know, those guys taking kids home, those guys going to pick kids up in the summer, those guys going out and buying, you know, team meals for these guys, and you know, position groups going and eating together with their coaches. Like, it's a family environment, and it's like that a lot of places. I don't think we're doing anything that a lot of other places aren't doing, to be honest with you. I talk to a lot of people, but I think the sincerity is where maybe we're a little bit different than some other programs. Is they do it for reasons to be seen, where I think our guys truly want to invest in our kids, and I think we've gotten more out of our kids because they know it's not just a football relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. We know you've had a long day. We'll just hit on a few things here before we wrap it up. Obviously, coming off the Jamboree, playing with J.L. Mann, what's your initial thoughts coming out of that real game situation?
Yeah, I think we treated it probably a little bit differently than maybe some people did. We still had a lot of kids we need to get some answers for, as far as, you know, do they fit into our first, you know, 10 or 12 guys on the defensive side or the offensive side. We need to see some guys, you know, we needed to be able to see guys in live action and how they were going to respond to it. So, you know, there may have been some times where we had some things scripted where this personnel group was going to be out there no matter what, you know, and it is what it is. Like, it didn't count as far as a win and a loss, and it allowed us to kind of set our depth chart a little bit more. It allowed us to see guys that have earned, you know, playing time for us to see and it not matter about the outcome. I mean, obviously we want to win. You know, there's probably people that left Friday night thinking, they lost 12-10, you know what I mean? But, like, for me, you know, we only had one timeout left in that last drive, or when they got the football back, whereas we had two timeouts. You can call two timeouts, get a chance to get the football back right there, and possibly kick a field goal to win it. Whereas we had special teams we had to call timeout for, and we had to waste a timeout on a formation offensively. So, you know, those two things were a teaching point for me to where, hey, kids, look, we got to execute at a high level so I can save these for moments that we truly need them. You know, so just little stuff like that, you know, I think was big for us. J.L. Mann's been a really good football team the last 3 or 4 years. I know it's a little bit different now, right now, with the coaching change and all that, but they're a 5A team that's going to be very productive. So our scrimmage schedule, I really believe, really made us better. You know, Chapin was a big physical team when we went down there. Woodruff, everybody knows, man, if you don't think they're going to be really good this year, you're kidding yourself. They got some, you know, their running back and their tight end are probably two of the best guys around if you're just looking at, you know, collegiate offers and things of that nature. Coach Sloan does a phenomenal job from a structure-wise too. So, you know, him being from Burns, we're seeing, you know, what we're going to see later in the year. And then obviously J.L. Mann Friday night. So it helped us, you know, answer some questions that need to be answered, and hopefully that's going to help us going into this next week of being able to win a football game in a tough environment.
I mean, that's what the Jamboree is for you to answer those questions. It's not always about, you know, what's the final score. And I'm glad you see it that way, because, That's the way it should be. I mean, because you can't replicate that. Like we said that before. This was game situation. Some guys have never been in a game situation.
No, and it was funny. I had somebody send me a thing on Twitter, and it was essentially, do you let the thought of winning or losing the jamboree dictate how you run that process? Mm-hmm. And I said, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to answer questions to people that aren't in our program. You know what I'm saying? My job is to evaluate our guys, put our coaches in the best chance they can to evaluate those guys, and then us make the best decisions about who's in our program. It don't matter what we do. We can go 10-0. Somebody in the crowd's gonna hate what we do. It's just a part of it. So
well, if they don't, you're not doing your job properly. No, if everybody agrees with everything you do, you've missed the opportunity as a coach.
I think the whole point of it is, do you let people dictate how you run your program? And to me, that's got to be an unwavering no. You and your staff have to do that, make those decisions. And again, value was the most important thing. Friday night, we could have played our ones the whole game. You know what I mean? But I don't think that was the right thing to do. We still had questions to be answered. We had guys that needed to be out there, and we needed to be able to evaluate not just that, but, moving guys around. Could they be a plug guy? If they're a starter at nickel, could they be a corner? And we looked at some of that stuff. So just trying, like I said, trying our very best to get everything in line for the ones that really matter, which is, starting this week in week 0.
Speaking of this week, going to Greer, week 1, starting off the regular season. Give us an outlook on what we expect to see from Greer.
Man, when you look at them up front defensively, they got 3 or 4 guys. We call them dudes. We text back and forth. Hey, I get a lot. Hey, number 0 for y'all's a dude. Yeah, I know that.
Imagine that.
But they've got guys that they've played there 3 years. Started there 3 years. Big, physical, get after it. And they've scrimmaged some good people as well. So you're not seeing them play against subpar competition and have success. They're doing it against good people. They played Shelby Friday night. They've scrimmaged Gaffney before that. And so, 2 of the most premier programs in South Carolina and North Carolina, they've played them as well. So, I think they're a little bit younger on offense. They graduated quite a bit. So I think there's some things we can do, hopefully, to confuse, a sophomore quarterback and some younger skill guys. But Coach Young, he preaches physicality. That's just who he is. He's an old school throwback, just going to coach football really, really hard and get kids to play hard for him. And what we talked about, that's a traditional, place. They've won a lot of football games. Mm-hmm. And I don't think a whole lot of people go into Greer continuously and win there. So for us being able to go back there again this year, it's going to be a big challenge for us, and it's going to be a great challenge for our guys and our coaches on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, you said the dudes over there have played 3 and 4 years, have lost to you 3 straight years. So they probably got that first game circled.
Yeah, and I think anybody's a competitor is going to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's, like I said, that's a breeding grounds of success. Over the long term. Last year Coach Turk talked about it. They played some really good teams early in the year that kind of and they came out beat Burns, and I think they went on like a 6 or 7 game win streak. I think won their region last year. Yeah. So. It's not a place where they don't breed quitters there. That's going to be a place where you're going to have to go and earn it. You're not going to get any calls. It's going to be one of those environments where when you walk in those gates, man, you better be ready to roll on Friday night or it'll get ugly real quick.
Yeah, I know Ken was correcting me earlier. We were talking about we've won 3 straight, and then 3 years ago we actually beat Greer over there, and I think that's the first time we've ever beat Greer at Greer, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be tough when you show up Friday night, and they're ready for it. But you got to be excited as a coach that what I call the silly season, all the preseason stuff, the practices, 7-on-7s, all that's now behind you. Starting Friday night, it counts.
Yeah, and like I said, it's we've been doing this a long time, and the kids get tired of seeing the same people, get tired of tackling the same people. So, I'm just excited. There's nothing like Friday nights. I don't care what anybody says. Each one of us coaches are living vicariously through these kids to some extent on Friday night. I never ran out with the kids until we got a helmet tunnel at North Myrtle, and then when it's the same thing when I got here, we got that helmet tunnel, and we got our music going. It's just a different vibe. It's a different thing that if you've never experienced it, you don't understand it. And the closeness, that we're hoping this group continues to have, that I think really propelled us last year into some big wins and a big season. That's the challenge, man. Every year's different. Every team's different. We got transfers that are here this year, that we got guys moving up that were JV players last year. Then you got your small core group of guys that were in the fire with us on Friday nights last year. So it's going to be who gels the fastest, and then who can, like I think Grayson was talking about, just the offense and defense and special teams all being married together and really just working off each other. And when that happens, man, it's a beautiful thing.
I guess this would probably be the first team that is fully yours, right? Didn't know leftovers from the previous administration.
Yeah. When I got here and we had that snowstorm, so it was really the 1st of February, the group of seniors they had just finished up their freshman football season. So, that was the first group I was around, but this is really the first group that you're talking about that has been fully just, with our coaching staff the whole time.
Yeah, so you've been giving them your philosophy, your mentality now, and that's been their thing their whole high school career. So it's pretty cool.
We're excited to see it. Friday night, first game, 4th season with us. You got a W wins this year if you want to keep the streak going.
I keep saying that.
I keep saying, well, I'm just trying to float that out
there. If we
there.
win 14 games, I think everybody at this table is going to be pretty happy.
I'm going to be extremely happy. But, Coach, glad to have you with us tonight on the Matt Real Coaches Show. That does sound pretty cool, though. I have to throw that out there for you. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday night, and hopefully next week we got the victory to talk about.
Once the word gets out, we'll get more people watching and listening.
Yeah, it's a new thing. We've tried to harp on it on our broadcasts and stuff, and we appreciate you guys letting us do what we do. I mean, what you talk about, you guys living through the kids, we're doing the same thing. Sitting up here in the press box.
Well, at the end of the day, man, like it's all about the kids. And people call me and want to do interviews, want to do this, that, and if it's a way for me to promote our programs, a way for me to promote our kids, I will never, turn down the opportunity to do that. So this is pretty cool for me, being able to just, talk about our kids, talk about our program, the things we believe in, and then for people to be able to see, not just hear about our kids, but actually be able to see them, see our coaches, and understand, how special I think, this place is and our program is. It's pretty cool for everybody to be able to get a little glimpse of that.
One thing when we were getting ready to bring the kids on, they were pretty excited to get on the radio. They were over there a little giddy.
So, oh, yeah.
Well, and that's the exciting part is, everything we can do to help promote them, because that's what you're right. It's all about the kids and what can we do to promote them and give them a voice out there for people to enjoy what we get to see up close and personal. You see it every day. We get to see it on Friday nights.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, too, like I said, man, I'm 40, almost be 42, so, how things were done whenever I was in high school was completely different than how we do them now. Mm-hmm. And how things were done when you guys were in high school was completely different than how I did them. So I don't think people understand.
You just called us old.
What? Like I said, I'm in my 40s, so I'm not a spring chicken right now either. So, but I don't think people realize the technology that our kids have, the weight room program and technology and the scientific knowledge we use, the catapult systems we use that measures their speed, their output, their input. We can measure the guys that are practicing hard in practice, the guys that are taking time off. The impact that we have on the helmet systems now. We can go in, plug it into a phone, and it shows us how many impacts they had, what that is. I mean, it's
that's cool.
People don't realize all that and how much we really are trying to make sure we're taking care of these kids and the midweek meals, the pregame meals, all this stuff, man, that to me is just a part of what our culture is, what our program is, what we're trying to do to make sure these kids have every advantage they can possibly have. I don't think the normal person understands all that.
Dang, Coach, I still remember suspension helmets and salt tablets.
Smelling salt.
Smelling salt, yeah, and the one bar. Yeah, and the one bar across your face.
But it's awesome, man. Like, the game's evolved, and the kids they're playing in the best version of this game that there's been, in my opinion, as far as the safety parts of it. And then just, everything that we're allowed to give these guys now and the programs they have in place for them.
Yeah, it's like you said, we're looking forward to having this every week, every Tuesday. We do want to have players on the week. Instead of coming on Fridays, I think we're going to do our players of the week on the show.
That'd be cool.
We'll let you know who the players of the week are, to have them out here, interview the players of the week. And if you want to bring more players out here, more coaches and everything, we call it the real show, but this is your show. You do we'll put whoever you want to put out here, man.
Like I told you guys, it's not, it ain't me. They give the guy the name of head coach, but I can promise you this: there ain't one head coach in the state of South Carolina that's doing it all by himself. If he ain't got a crew that's pulling with him in the right direction and doing all the things that you believe in, and those kids hearing that echo from the 9th grade staff all the way up, it ain't going to fly and it ain't going to work. And kids, they know who's real with them and who's being fake with them real quick. I think people don't understand how intuitive kids are, and I think our guys do a great job of making sure our kids know it's a legit relationship with them, and we're here for them.
And they'll remember it for years because, like I said, I still remember my head coach from years and years ago, and you're making a profound impact on their lives, and that's what we appreciate, and that's why we want to make sure we promote that.
Absolutely.
Coach, we appreciate you. We're right at an hour, so we took a little bit too much of your time, so we appreciate you coming out. Appreciate Coach Anderson, Coach Turk, and all 4 of the boys coming out. Look forward to Friday night, get a Bulldog victory, and being out here talking about it on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. And like we always say, go Dogs.
Absolutely. See you guys Friday night and then next week on the Coach Real Show.